All right, Tommy, awesome playing today and this week. What's been working well for you today and throughout the week as a whole to put you in this spot?
Yeah, I've played really well. Like, I've played very, very solid. I suppose I've used every aspect of the game, if you like. I felt like certain elements yesterday I had to scramble really well before things actually caught fire for me on the back nine. Today, hit the ball great off the tee. I was just saying I didn't really know the numbers, but I saw it on the TV monitor, hit every fairway. So that's a really cool stat. That's a really nice stat. And I just had very much control of my golf ball. Bogey-free today, so the odd sort of iffy shot I hit made good saves, which are massive for momentum, especially when you're having a good day. So it's hard to pick just one thing, and it's funny how like weeks can sort of sometimes come out of not nowhere. I've been playing really well this year, but obviously disappointing week last week, and to do good work and to get back and feel like I've played well has been really nice.
Along the lines of the every fairway, you put in a new driver shaft and have a new mini driver. What kind of sparked that change, and how does that help you?
Always working on things. Things chop and change a lot throughout the year, and my driver just been spinning up a little bit. Like, I've drove it pretty well this year. Actually drove it very well, but it was just spinning up a little bit. Like it just rose, and originally it was the mini driver shaft that I changed. I went back to the original shaft that I played with last year. That's always been such a strong club for me. New head this week as well, the R7 head. So that's been great. And again, we just ended up fiddling with some shafts, and it was. Sometimes it's nice to have the opportunity to do that. Sometimes those things come up, and you can just spend some time on it. And yeah, it's been good. I probably only hit one driver today, or two drivers hit good drives, but mini driver's been great. And yeah, those have been a nice change.
Tommy, I know it's kind of a misleading stat because you've been successful all over the world, but not having won on the PGA Tour, is that something you really want to just kind of put to rest, just so you don't have to see that anymore when
Well, I don't know. I'm top of a lot of stats lines for people that haven't won on the PGA Tour, so there's always being number one at something's nice. Yeah, of course. I'd love to win on the PGA Tour. I think it's like a element of your career that everybody wants, and I of course want it. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't this year especially. I don't feel like I've given myself like a back-end chance a couple of times this year, but I've not been in contention. So this is like my first real chance. So I'm really excited about that and looking forward to it. Again, it's easy to put pressure on yourself, and the longer things go on, the more people talk about it. Of course they do, but there's also things that I'm very proud about as well, like my consistency, where I stand, FedEx Cups and world rankings and things like that. And so there's a lot to be happy about. But of course, I'm not going to be silly and say I don't care about it. Of course I want to win, and hopefully it'll happen sooner rather than later.
Tommy, what's kept you from having more chances this year, do you think?
I think sometimes it's been a slow start. I think I've been a slow starter for a few of the tournaments, and the other thing is, like, standard of golf out here is really, really high, and just because you are not up there, week in, week out, or a lot, it doesn't mean you're not playing well. I feel like I've played really, really well, and just been shy of those, Sunday challenges, if you like. But there's not that much to it. Like, we all think about our game so much, and you're always looking for what you could do better or what you've done well and what you need to change. But I honestly feel like I've been playing very well and at a very consistent level, but just haven't been at, had those weeks where I've had sparks and been right up there at the top and challenged, really. But this week's first one, so.
You're part of that high standard as well. But when you've got a guy who's been doing what Scottie's done for the last two or 3 years, 2 or 3 months, whatever, does it? And you're tied going in to the weekend. Does it change your outlook if he wasn't there? Does he have that level yet? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think, no doubt everybody mentions Scottie when he's on the leaderboard. And I think he's definitely earned that. Like, he's been there a lot, he's won a lot, and he's, over the last 2 or 3 years, he has definitely been that player that has found that way to win. And but all you can do is, focus on yourself. I think he's a great person to aspire to in terms of his game, the level that he's played at. You know, I always say, you know, if advice, I'm like, I look at what the best players are doing and basically try and copy it. You know, how they practice, how they play, how they manage themselves around the golf course. So I think, you know, it's great having the likes of Scottie and Rory, who are having such amazing careers as we are playing, to look up to and learn from. So, but like when you're out there playing, you just, you know, it's all about you and focusing on your game. And because I think, you know, there's times when you'll finish. You know, aside from winning is obviously the ultimate satisfaction. But I think there's times when you'll finish second and be disappointed. There's times when you'll finish 20th and come away feeling pretty good. So it's all about your own self-satisfaction at the end of the day.
Did you feel any stress out there today?
Not really.
Obviously, we're paying attention to fairways hit.
No, I felt I felt good out there. I felt very comfortable, and I felt good about my swing. I think there's some demanding golf shots on that golf course, and pretty much I felt like I had very much control of my golf swing out there, and my start lines. So I felt good. I putted beautifully, and not just the ones that you hold for birdies. Like I think, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 footers for par all the time. You know, 9, like you know, things that go amiss. Because obviously I played great, but you know, wedge shot into 9 was poor. Really, like a bit clumsy, just a bit of a pull. End up in a tricky spot. You know, if you look at those 2 holes, like hole that 6 footer for par and then birdie 10. That's like 2 holes of momentum rather than, you know, you could easily go bogey par there and it's a very different story. And same on 17 now. I'd love to hold that putt on the last, but 17, you know, poor wedge shot, but getting up and down, they make massive difference to the rounds even when you're playing great.
What's it like having your family out there, kind of seeing your kids off the green and then just having them this week overall?
Yeah, they're great. Like, you know, they're my biggest supporters completely. They love golf. They absolutely love it. So, it is always great having them out. I'm sort of one of the guys that probably, you know, living where I live, does the most amount of travel and probably spends the most time away from my family, if you like. So I do really love the weeks when they are out here.
Tommy, just one quick question. As you turn in 32, do you look at the scoreboard on the back as your back 9 progresses, see where you are, see what anybody else is doing? Do you do that at all?
Yeah, have a look. They're sort of, you know, they're obviously there and it's easier to look than sort of avoid it, if you like. But again, it didn't really affect anything. I think this is a really good course, actually, for the leaderboards there. But, you know, you look at holes like 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 14. Like, somebody could finish eagles and birdies, you know, all the way in. But, I mean, you know, poor shots, there's high scores out there. So I think this is a really good course where you can look at the leaderboard, but the leaderboard almost doesn't mean that much. Like, you have to stand up and hit the golf shots, really, because somebody else will be doing it, and somebody else will go low if not more people. So I think it's a really nice week for that. You know, you look at the leaderboard, but you just got to carry on with your game plan and hit the shots.
Thank you.
Everybody got what they need?
Thanks, guys.